It's 2021 and the season is well underway. We are a few races in and the patterns have already started developing. The 2021 season will be focused more on the in-team battles than on championship positions, although those will play an important part on the overall outcome of the teams. But among all the drivers that have switched teams, there is one that stands out over the rest. That is Carlos Sainz. It's been an amazing couple seasons for the Spaniard, with his resurgence at McLaren once he left the Red Bull wings to grow his own. He went from being a reserve driver to a fan favorite, and the fact that McLaren were acing the online game ever since Zach Brown took the reins, we got to see the real Carlos. The funny, outgoing, fiery, honest personality came bubbling to the surface and made him not only more likable among the fans and the paddock, but far more confident than he had ever been before. At McLaren, it's a family atmosphere we've created, and so we adapt to each other. We've helped raise Carlos's confidence that he had there. It just shows that a good team spirit and a good team building and a healthy environment to perform is always important as an athlete. After his recruitment to Ferrari, we didn't know what to expect. I actually made a video on that topic that I'll link up there in the top right corner talking about the move itself, but let me just tell you that I was worried to say the least. Ferrari needed a number 2 driver for Leclerc, and I was honestly afraid Carlos was going to be relegated to a support driver like Bottas. Yeah, I went there, video coming soon. Fast forward to the beginning of 2021 and he got right to it, testing 2018's Ferrari SF71H and racking up over 300 kilometers over at the Fiorano track, bringing his overproductive and super involved nature to the red team, where he started forming bonds with everyone as soon as he could to get acquainted with the whole team experience like he did with McLaren. Then we got to testing, where the Ferrari resurgence talk got serious. With cars in the top 6 all 3 days, we started suspecting that there might actually be a fight for P3 and that they would take part in it. After all 3 Ferrari-powered teams completed the tests with little issues when taking into account they were using an all-new for 2021 power unit with over 21 Grand Prix distances and an average of over 400 laps per day, it was honestly looking quite good for them. Onto the Bahrain Grand Prix, and after an electronic glitch where the engine cut off and he thought he was out of Q1, he ended up qualifying P8 with his teammate in P4, just over half a second split the two. That could be considered quite bad until you look at the rest of the teammate comparisons on the teams with newcomers. There were 0.537 seconds splitting the Ferraris. There was closer to 1.7 seconds splitting the Red Bulls, 1.4 seconds between the AlphaTauris. Daniel Ricciardo would be the exception and now qualify his teammate by less than half a tenth, and so would Fernando Alonso when Ocon was slowed down due to yellow flags and lost a ton of time. Here you can see the gap in a much better light with the due context. Come race day, Charles would lose 2 positions to come home in P6, while Carlos kept his P8 starting spot after a good 2-stop strategy. But the interesting thing is, even though Leclerc has been racing with Ferrari since 2019, he was outraced on average by a tenth a lap on clean air, and I bet he thanks God there weren't many on the hard stint, because on average Carlos was 0.6 a lap faster. It wouldn't be a one-off either. Race and quali pace were extremely close between the Ferrari drivers. Imola greeted us with much better clean air pace for Leclerc than Sainz, with 9/10 splitting the lap times, but overall Carlos comes out in front with a 3.5 lead in race pace. Portugal is where Carlos outqualified his Ferrari teammate for the first time, and even though they had split strategies, it's clear to see that he just wasn't on the pace as much, over half a second a lap slower than Leclerc. Spain was another race with a split strategy, but this time it was the other way around and Charles was just lower on cleaner running, 0.051 seconds on average to be exact. There's a clear pattern here, one I'm happy about, although I'm starting to get worried. I don't know if you remember this, but on December 19th, the day Carlos was presented as a Ferrari driver, Binotto said that he expects to see Schumacher in red for 2023, the year Carlos's contract expires. He then tried to fix this by stating he hopes to be able to renew the contract, but the waters were already muddied. Ferrari expected Carlos to slot in as a helping hand, but as we've clearly seen, that's just not the case. He's future world champion material, no doubt, and I guess I'm just worried that he might be out of a seat after his stint at Ferrari. Although it might create tensions within the team, he has to show what he's worth and make it clear to the executives. Let's assume though that Ferrari let him go at the end of 2023 for Schumacher. Where would that leave him? For starters, I'm ruling out AlphaTauri and Red Bull because of how the story there ended. McLaren would be the obvious answer, but if everything goes according to plan, they will be fully booked with Lando and Daniel by then fighting for the championship. Alpine could be a decent option though. If Fernando doesn't get renewed, I could totally see him taking Magic Alonso's spot. Another decent call could be Aston Martin, seeing as I honestly don't see either of their current drivers as future champion material. What do you guys think? Have you been surprised by Sainz's pace? Do you think he can outscore Leclerc? Where do you see him in the future? Staying at Ferrari or jumping ship? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you also to the History of the Sport for becoming a top tier patron and helping support and grow the channel. Also big thanks to Alex Does F1 Stuff for the hand with the race pace data. Both channels will be in the descriptions below. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time.